we only have a couple more days until we see the last of Victor Wembanyama. Well, at least until October. And there is a chance he doesn't even play the rest of the regular season games for the Spurs, considering they don't matter at all. So I guess Victor's season is already over. But with Victor's rookie season expectations being so goddamn high, I feel like it was only right if we went through the ups and downs of his career and see how it really went. Because it for sure started out pretty rough. Like, do you guys also remember the Britney Spears incident? I feel like that was the first big Victor Wembanyama story besides basketball. I don't know if I'm remembering it incorrectly, but that was before he ever played a single NBA game, and there was already drama happening. But I'm not really here to talk about those outside controversies because it was pretty ridiculous. The real drama to start off Victor's career was when he was doing a photo shoot for the San Antonio Spurs, and he was missing shots in a wide open arena. No fans, no nothing, just media people taking pictures of him in a Spurs jersey, and he was bricking those shots out there. I remember non-stop people calling him a bust. Everyone was saying, damn, he's not ready for the NBA. He's just better in France. It was ridiculous. Like, can we please be serious? I know some of those people were probably kidding, but I know that there were some genuine people out there thinking that he was going to be a bust because he was missing those shots. But it didn't take long for him to shut all that up, because in his first 5 games, the dude averaged 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks. And I'm pretty sure in one of those first couple games, there was a night where he put up like 28 or 30 points, something like that. Just in your first couple games as a rookie, it's insane. But the thing that frustrated me the most is that you still had people saying Chet Holmgren was going to win Rookie of the Year, which I understand he did make it a little bit of a competition when the season started. But if you really watched both their games, you would see that Victor had more of an impact on the Spurs, if anything. And I know that that doesn't sound like too much considering they are a pretty bad team, and the Oklahoma City Thunder are a, number 1 seed for a majority of the year. I feel like Chet has been great. Don't get me wrong. Chet has improved the OKC Thunder team, but Chet isn't the reason why they're number 1 seed. Okay, that's just how that is. If you replace Chet with Victor, I guarantee you the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to the Western Conference Finals. Okay, and they might still do that with Chet. Just saying, they'd be a lot better with Victor. So yeah, if you can't tell from me, it was always going to be Victor Wembanyama's Rookie of the Year award since the jump. But the best thing between these two was the matchups that they had. Like, they both try to play it off like they're not really rivals or they don't really care about each other, but you know that at least Victor does care about Chet. I don't know if Chet really gives a shit about anything at all, but the way you see Victor play against Chet and the way that you see them kind of muscle up and tough up against each other and flex on each other, and like, I remember one game specifically where Victor dunked on Chet, and in the very next possession, Chet comes down and elbows the fuck out of Victor, and Victor starts clapping. It was intense. It was a very intense situation. Like I said, I know that they talk about it like they don't care, they're not rivals. I think that they do care, and I don't know how you can't. Which is one of the best things, is that we're gonna see a battle between these two, hopefully for decades to come. But with the matchups between them, it felt like it was only after that when everyone started kind of agreeing that it was gonna be Victor winning Rookie of the Year. I feel like that's where you really started to see the separation between the two, when you started to see Victor's game grow. Not to mention the Spurs were just so confusing all season with their rotations. I don't really know what Greg Popovich is doing, but he knows a lot more about basketball than I do, so I can't really judge him. But seriously, Jeremy Sohan at point guard, seriously, like that's actually a serious role that you did. But there are a couple games that I personally do remember from Victor. For example, his 5x5 stat line with 27 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 steals, and 5 blocks. In 31 minutes against the Lakers, he managed to put that stat line up, something that is mythical in the NBA, and he is starting to make it look easy. He already did it in his rookie year, and this is going to be a stat that Victor owns. This is going to be one of those stats that by the end of his career, everyone's going to go, yeah, no one is touching the 5x5 stat line. He also had a huge game against the Knicks where he put up 40 points and 20 rebounds. I'm pretty sure that's when he spoiled Jalen Brunson's like 60-point game and threw the ball into the crowd. Just legendary shit. But can we really quickly talk about Victor Wembanyama and his Defensive Player of the Year award and how it should be his? We all remember his quote saying that Rudy Gobert should win this year's award because it'll be the last one he ever touches. Well, I don't even think he should be touching this one. Do you see the way that players attack the paint when Victor is standing in there? Like this transition from the Grizzlies. This is, I'm pretty sure, a 3-on-1. I'm trying to do it with my memory and not actually look at the clip. Do you see the way that they're passing this ball so they don't have to go at Victor? It is ridiculous. And it's not just this one-off scenario against the Grizzlies. This is in every single game. No one is going in on this guy. Whereas just a couple games ago, Rudy Gobert was getting dunked on. Not saying that Victor has never been dunked on, but the fear that he gives his opponents is something that Rudy Gobert doesn't have. No one is really scared of him. But when it came to the draft process and when everyone was looking at Victor and saying their opinions and how they think his career is going to go, everyone knew that offensively he was going to be great. Everyone knew that defensively he was going to be great, but they didn't know about his health. Victor's stature is something that we never really see in the NBA. I mean, we're going to start seeing them now more often because there's fucking clones being made all of a sudden. But the only other player with a similar build that I can really think of right now is Chet Holmgren. And what happened to Chet after he got drafted? Well, unfortunately, he got injured when playing in the Pro-Am. And so I remember everyone nonstop talking about how Victor is going to be injury prone. You don't take Victor with the #1 pick because he's going to be injury prone. You take Scoot Henderson, like the most insane takes of all time, which I really need to make another video for Scoot Henderson because good Lord. That being said, this entire thing is me trying to say that the most understated part of Victor Wembanyama's season so far, first year in the NBA, has been his availability. The dude has always been available, doesn't want to take load management days like a lot of other stars. Granted, he isn't playing the rest of the season because it is kind of pointless. He always goes out there and always puts in his 100% effort because he knows that there's people there that have never been able to see him play before, and that's something that I respect, and I know damn well the NBA respects because he's going to be the next face of the league. Okay, so we all obviously know that Victor had a good rookie year. It's pretty common knowledge. There's no doubt the Rookie of the Year trophy is going to be his. But what about the Spurs overall? What's next for him on the Spurs? And well, even though the NBA media will tell you that Victor needs to go to the Lakers or Warriors to have a good season,
but Victor isn't that patient. No. I think the rest of the league has started to understand that now. So what does the timeline look like now?
I don't want to hear that word anymore. Timeline. Patience. Like, Victor's here. Victor is ready to win. And I know they have this idea that they're going to take 2-3 years and find the right core and they're all going to be on the same timeline, but I don't know how patient he's going to be because how long do you give him, Malika? Year, two?
A year max.
Because I don't think he wants to sit here and be at the bottom of the lottery standings.
NBA media is so fucking bad. I personally feel like the Spurs know what they're doing. Now, I don't think that that gives anyone the right to really overreact when it comes to his first or even second season, to be honest. But there's a reason why everyone was so excited when he was drafted to the Spurs, and that's because they know what to do in situations like this. There's no other franchise better at it. And we all have our own ideas as to how the Spurs are going to do it, what they're going to build and put around Victor, like Trae Young, for example, which is just something that I need to see. My brain needs to watch a game with Victor and Trae Young playing together and the alley-oops and Trae just actually being a true point guard, something that this Spurs team is yet to have. I do love Trae Jones and Devin Vassell, but I'd like to see him with a star point guard. So yeah, I do really like Trae Young being there, but another underrated dark horse, in my opinion, for the San Antonio Spurs and who they can go out and get is Donovan Mitchell. I talked about it in my last video, one that'll be up on the screen somewhere. I really do think Donovan Mitchell could be something better for this Spurs team. He brings in the experience of being in the playoffs for multiple years. Not to say that Trae Young hasn't done it. He had a solid playoff run, but Donovan Mitchell is only 2 years older. He's played with a really good big man before. I feel like Donovan Mitchell might be better suited for this situation. The only problem with him is that if he doesn't want to play in San Antonio, or if he doesn't like the city of San Antonio, it's not worth it at all, because we're seeing him right now play with the Cavaliers and have a good season, a very, very, very good season before he got injured. And even then, he doesn't seem to be committed to Cleveland. He wants to go somewhere else. So yeah, if you're the Spurs, you probably don't take that risk. You instead take Trae Young, someone who's disgruntled in Atlanta because he's not winning anymore. But Donovan Mitchell is one of those players that I think should be talked about more for this Spurs team, because maybe he does want to team up with a generational big man. Who knows? So overall, yeah, I'd say that this season has 100% been a success for Victor Wembanyama. And the idea that this is the worst he will ever be in the NBA is really scary to me, because this is someone who could truly take over the league and really run shit for years to come. And if that does happen, there is no one else I would rather watch over him. So if you did enjoy, be sure to like and subscribe. My camera is about to die, so I love you guys. I will see you guys all in the next video. Later.